An Illinois Democratic congressman denies scheming to install his chief of staff as his handpicked successor. The congressman, Jesus Chuy Garcia, originally filed to run for re-election, but then he changed course and announced his retirement. Shortly after, his chief of staff, Patty Garcia, filed her petition to run and did so right at the deadline. The House of Representatives, looking over all this, voted to rebuke Garcia, and 23 Democrats backed that effort. I'm now joined by Myra Macias. She's a lifelong Democrat who has just jumped into this race as an independent. Myra, why did you jump into this race as an independent, and how do you regard Congressman Garcia's, and there's no connection between the two of you familially, the way he handled this?
Well, thanks for having me on. I mean, first, I volunteered and have supported the congressman's campaigns. And it's why, like many people in my community, I felt very disappointed that the congressman anointed his chief of staff as a successor. We're at a time when Democrats are trying to hold the Trump administration accountable for undemocratic actions. And it's hard to do that if we're turning a blind eye here at home when folks from our own party are partaking in undemocratic actions. So, I jumped in because I want to make sure that voters have a choice. I grew up in the district in a working class Mexican immigrant community called Back of the Yards. My father was a garbage man. My mom is still a home care worker. Everyone here in this community works really hard for the things they have. And under the Trump administration, we're seeing that life is getting more expensive. Here in Chicago, ICE is abducting our community members. And on top of that, folks aren't being given a choice to who represents them in Congress. So I'm running to make sure they have a choice in November. They won't have a choice in the Democratic primary in March, but I'll make sure they have a choice in November.
I want to ask you if is about something bigger, because there was a decided and noticeable decline in Democratic voter participation in the 2024 election. Not just in the battleground states, as you well know, but in states like Illinois, New Jersey, California, New York, where the campaign wasn't joined, but Democrats just backed out, just didn't participate. Do you think that was a reflection then of dissatisfaction with the process that left them out, that anointed Kamala Harris and pulled Biden out of the process? And do you think that is a part of what you're doing here is part of that larger reckoning the Democratic Party writ large has to come to about what happened in 2024?
Look, Major, I want to share an anecdote that I think encapsulates exactly what you're asking. Before I made any decision, I talked to folks in the community. I spoke to this young woman in her 20s, Latina, from Back of the Yards. I asked her what she thought of the process in which the congressman anointed his chief. And she told me, why should I even vote? My vote doesn't matter. And to me, as someone who has dedicated her career making sure that folks are engaging civically, do have the resources, information to vote, that was heartbreaking. I do think that we're seeing an energy on this campaign of folks who have been tired with the status quo. I mean, we announced just 3 days after filing that we raised $100,000. A lot of that donation came from grassroots donors who saw our campaign online. Folks have been DMing me on Instagram asking if they could throw house parties for me. The energy is so palpable, and as you said, Major, it's bigger than me. It's about folks wanting change quick enough. Because as I mentioned, here in Chicago, we're seeing Trump's deportation machine in full effect, and not just detaining folks without legal status, but US minors, American citizens, and people are tired of not having politicians respond to that quickly enough. And so we are seeing change, and I'm excited to be part of that process. And if folks want to get involved, they can look me up at voteformyra.com.
How tough is this going to be on an independent line? And congratulations on 100,000. But I don't need to tell you, you're a pro. You've been around this. You've been a field organizer, and you need a lot more than 100,000.
Well, it's something that I grew up with in Back of the Yards is this saying that nothing has ever been handed to me. And this race is definitely part of that. I mean, running as an independent is surely not going to be easy. This is a Democratic district. But I take that as an opportunity to be able to talk to the thousands of voters that we need just to get on the ballot. I mean, I need almost 11,000 signatures to get on the ballot as an independent. But I'm excited because it's giving us an opportunity to engage voters, to give them a tangible thing, fill this out with your signature, making sure that I'm on the ballot in November. And more than anything, to hear what are the issues that are top of mind for them. I mean, affordability comes up time and time again. People are no longer able to provide for their families like they once did with a government job or a union job like my father had through the city of Chicago. And so I'm excited to be able to engage those folks and have them join the campaign and be part of this opportunity. But we are expecting to raise a lot of resources and have a
Mhm.
lot of volunteers, and we're a people powered campaign. So excited to get roll up my sleeves and get that work done.
5 seconds. How many signatures do you have so far?
We haven't started. Petitions
Okay.
start in February.
Okay, Myra Macias, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.